Okay, hi everybody. So I have a Generation 3 or a GHG 17 Detroit One Box here. Came out of Western Star. So I have a Roadwarrior filter kit here. We're going to go ahead and show you how to put a new DPF in properly the way that we do them here. So tools that we're going to use here. I have a actually Detroit DPF alignment tool, which helps out quite a bit. You don't necessarily have to have this. These are kind of expensive. We do keep a couple of them here if somebody's interested, because sometimes you talk to the dealers and they have no idea what you're talking about. So we do have a couple here. If somebody's interested, you can call us or check out our website. So I'm going to lay that down in here first off. Other things we're going to need is a metric socket set for the particular clamps that we're using. I'm just going to use a mid-wheel set, and then a set of metric Allen sockets. So like I said, for the particular clamps I'm using today, there's a lot of different variations. I'll show you why I like the V-band clamp that I'm going to use today, because it does make this process a little bit easier than using the traditional OEM clamps. So first thing we're going to do, we have all our tools out. We've got our graphite crush gasket. Go ahead and put that into the land. And if you notice the DOCs in this, kind of a side shoot, this customer has been using the Pittsburgh Power DPF clean whatever formula they have. So I think that caused some discoloring on these, because that's something, this is after baking. That's something I don't typically see after baking. Usually they come out nice and probably white, but there wasn't any signs of any fuel contamination or coolant contamination. So I think that was probably caused by that additive he's been using. So we got that crush gasket in there. We're gonna go ahead with our flat clamp. And unfortunately, these have a graphite gasket in them. These have to be replaced every time, unfortunately, and they are kind of expensive. We do have a lot cheaper option for those as well, if that's something you are needing and don't want to pay Freightliner or Detroit over $100 a piece for. So these have to go in here very strategically. You want to make sure this is starting out, this is all the way flush past as far as you can get it on this flange, and bring it all the way down like that. We got our alignment tool laid in there. Next thing I do is go ahead and put my V-band clamp. So the reason I like this particular clamp, it has a lot smaller profile than what the OEM clamp does. It is an Allen instead of a regular socket head. And one of the reasons I like this clamp is because you can put the bolt side over on this side of the One Box without it obstructing the covers. So it makes it a little bit easier, where the traditional clamps, you have to put them on this side, and then you have to have them basically like sync together, mesh together, in order for them to fit underneath the cover. So this one, I'm going to put it on this side. So, and I kind of leave that clamp at an angle so we can lock the DPF down. So that way we have easy access right here. And just to note also, I didn't say it beforehand, I always put this filter in, the inboard filter, as you know, this is the inside of the truck where the inlet goes in. I always put this inboard filter in first. It makes it a lot easier than trying to work around the outboard filter. Obviously, these will only go in one way. If you try to put them the other way, you're going to have some major issues. It does have a flow arrow, but like I said, it's pretty well irrelevant. It's only going to go in one way. So now I'm going to come around this side. So I'm going to let my alignment tool here just kind of cradle this filter, and then I'm going to slowly pull it back until this side over here is lined up pretty well. So when you're putting these in, this needs to be, I tell my guys over and over and over, these have to be perfect. It's got to be perfect all the way around, or they will leak. But you can use this tool. Yeah, I mean, you can use 2 pry bars to do this. It's a little bit more uncoordinated, I guess you could say. But this makes it nice because it just kind of lays in there. So I'm pretty happy with that to start out with. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this over. Okay, I just want to get that started. One thing I didn't bring and I forgot to mention is my flashlight. I use the flashlight to check all these gaps all the way around to make sure everything's lined up. So I'm going to grab that real quick. What I was talking about over here with this particular clamp, you can roll this gas when this clamp pulls together. This is going to sink and it's going to give you enough clearance. So I've done a couple of them this way. At this point, I'm going to get ready to snug this down. So I'm going to go ahead and start tightening this down, and we're going to kind of adjust as needed. So everything looks good at this joint. Everything looks good on that one. Everything looks good there. I actually want to roll this back a little bit. Then when I'm making my adjustments, I try not to pry or beat. You know, you don't want to beat on this because you can damage that media inside there. So whenever I try to pry like if I'm making an adjustment on one of these welds, that way it's a little bit stronger at that point. Okay, so we got this pretty well lined up, and what I'm looking for is that these two flanges here and all these little slots, that they're all lined up and even all the way around. So it's difficult on the camera to see, but you want here, you want the filter lined up all the way around and centered. So, because if it's off a little bit, they can leak. So now that I've got this set pretty well to where I want it, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that down a little bit more. And I don't like to get too crazy with that yet. I'm gonna go ahead and place this clamp on. And the main thing with this one is to be careful when you're dragging this across, just make sure it doesn't get caught on the gasket. So with these Roadwarrior filters, one of the things that I found is a little bit tricky with them is that this straight edge here goes a little bit farther back than on some of the OEM and the other filter brands out there. Like normally on most of these, the other makes, we could basically just put this clamp up against to where it stops, like which would be here, but obviously in this situation it's back a lot further. But you want this, gasket is right here, you want that to be over this gap. So on these particular, on the Roadwarrior ones, I try to line this up center line with the other filter. And as you know, we got to kind of strategically place this clamp up to where we can get the other one in sync with it to where it fits underneath this plane as well. So I like that right there. So I'm gonna grab 15 and we're gonna start snugging that down. So I'm just gonna snug this down a little bit. Back this up. Okay, I like that a little better. So this is a very tedious process to get these right to where they're not going to leak. So you do not want any leaks. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that right now. Now with these, as you've seen in most of my videos, I like to go around and just tap on that clamp. Trickier to get to on these. Okay, that feels good. Check our other clamp again. One of the things you want to watch for here is that you're pulling that clamp up into that slot. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that, I think. So then after that, I go back with my flashlight and again and check my flanges on this end just to make sure nothing moved in the process. And everything looks like it's where I left it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So again, like I was showing you on this side, with this particular clamp design, you can actually put the bolt up side on the outboard, or the inboard side, I guess you could say, of the One Box, and it won't affect your other shield back here. So it makes it a little bit easier not having to line the V-band clamps up in the center. So that's pretty much it for today. I'm gonna throw the other filter in and put this back together and get it on the truck and see what happens. So if you guys are interested in anything we're using here today, check out our website or give us a call. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the bell for the updates, and thumbs up please if you like it. So we'll see you next time.